We're on. It's happening. I chewed that tostada up just in time. Not that anyone is on in the first minute anyway, but someone could have been. Could have been ugly, but I was scarfing it down. Jake, how you doing, buddy? You're muted. I know. I can tell that.
I'm fine. Yeah, I just got back from Minnesota, so I left when it was 70 degrees to go somewhere where it was, I don't know, I think it was like 8 degrees one of those days. So, which is actually kind of warm for Minnesota, northern Minnesota this time of year.
Yeah, that is actually.
We're almost in North Dakota, technically. That's how far north
you guys look like you're having a good time, man. We roasted you pretty good on the live with the aggressively average guys last week. You're in that nice cabin. Basically, it's a camper, ice fishing camper.
Yeah, that's what they do up there. A lot of those guys, like, there's like tons of those like cabins out there, and that I was looking into it more while we were there, and that's not even like the nicest of the nice. Now, don't get me wrong, that was a super nice one, but like there are some that are like RV size where they've got like beds and all sorts of crap. So
yeah, man, that was cool. You were definitely choosing your adventure, that's for sure. Well, hey guys, welcome to the New River Revival. It's the preview show. We got just a quick little lines in presented by Sunline. Appreciate those guys, and you're going to get a sample spool of Sunline in your kind of angler welcome bags this year for the first 50. Don't forget, the first 50 get those bags. Not everybody, the first 50. But some sponsors do give us extra stuff, so maybe you get lucky and there'll be some extra spools laying around if you're not the first 50. So thank you to Sunline. Thank you to Raccoon Creek Outfitters, our sponsor for all of our lives. Do a great job. If you're anywhere in the area, go check them out. And I think New Albany, Ohio. Is it New Albany or Albany? I can never remember if it's New Albany or Albany, but right down there. Great spot. Dustin Hoy and the whole gang. Let's see. Lines in. So lines in. Jake, what I was going to ask you too, this is a new time. We're starting at 7 and you're 1 hour earlier than I am. So I don't know if this is better or worse for you. We always make it work. I don't know if you guys listening, watching, if this is better or worse, but we didn't want to overlap with the Aggressively Average Anglers show at 8:15 because on the weeks that we don't have our normal show, we're always going to have a joint KAS and Aggressively Average Guys show, right, at 8:15. So we figured we'll keep it Wednesdays. We'll just move an hour up, and then you guys can tune into their show for those who want to stick around and watch their show, of course, after this. So, but it was crazy because the kids are getting, winded down for bed, and obviously wife's taking care of all that right now. But it's like chaos this time of day. So if you have kids, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's a less chance of someone busting in my room screaming from now till 7. So we got that going for us.
That's true. Well, cool, man. Let's get right to it. See what we got up next here on the docket. So we take you guys through this.
You got any news
and notes? Man, today I don't think there's a lot of news and notes really. There's just I'm working on the website some. We wrapped up all of our sponsorships, been ordering, stuff that we need, banners, all kinds of stuff like that. But as far as you guys go, like the anglers go, anything that's relevant, I don't know if there really is, man. Not really. So kind of light on the news and notes today, which is good because since this is a preview show, we'll just get right kind of to it.
We're officially 1 month from the first event, so this is your warning.
1 month out. Yeah, get signed up. Again, if you want to get those first 50 gift bags, Tallabassee's coming up soon. And let's see, what about
oh wow, we're at 16. That's not bad.
Yeah, no, it's not bad to have that many right now. That's about
considering kayak anglers wait till the very last minute in every aspect
always
of fishing.
And it just opened for registration, really, like what was it, 2-3 weeks ago? So I get it. Let's see. I guess we got what do we got? Do we have a voicemail or anything going on?
We do. We can do that next if we want to knock it out.
Yeah, I don't think there's any more news and notes, so we'll do
our from Alex Sterling, who was our Virginia champion last year. What was that called? The Bassathon, right? Is that what we call it?
Yes, the South Boston Bassathon. Yes, he was our champion. The South Boston Bassathon.
It was a sleeper event. That river, the Stanton River, got to say it right because I got roasted in my YouTube video for saying Staunton once. The Stanton River was super cool. I would love to live on that river, and there's giant smallmouth in there.
It was very cool. It didn't win the tournament, but it was a very cool river.
It had a chance, though. It did have a chance.
Yeah. So let's see. This
Tyler
is
was like
Torquedos.
one call away.
Yeah, he was. That's true. He was close. This is Torquedos Talk to Me segment, guys. You can go to speakpipe.com/KAS to send us your voicemail or comment, question, whatever you want to do, and you could be featured on the show here. So let's see what Alex Sterling has to say. Our champ from
the Kayak Adventure Series crew. Oh, I didn't mean for that to rhyme. This is Alex Sterling. I was calling in just to say, man, appreciate you guys coming back out to the area. Look forward to another great event. I'll probably see you in Indiana before I see you here, but nonetheless, keep doing what you guys are doing. It's going to be a great season. Can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I'll see you guys later. Bye.
So it sounds like he's coming to Indiana, which is awesome.
That is awesome. You know, he was a big X factor last year in the Angler of the Year race because he had a win under his belt, and I thought he was trying to get to some other events. He didn't quite make it to them, so he never got the full number of events. 3 you have to have minimum to qualify for the Angler of the Year. So, I mean, I'm telling you, if you're in the hunt this year, we're paying out the top 10 in Angler of the Year. Again, is 10th place going to be some giant, prize or money package? No, of course not. But paying out something to the top 10. So if you're even 15th or 20th place in AOI heading into that final event, knowing this year the new change in the rules, a final event doesn't have to be one of your 3. So you could fish 3 or 4 whatever events, and you can toss out the final broodstock event in Clarksville if you have a bad event. So we just want to make it fair for everyone. So if you're 15th, 20th place in hunt in AOI, you might as well show up to that finale because you could end up a lot higher than you think. So cool to hear from Alex, though. Real good to hear from him. And he's a good angler. I'm excited to see him fishing more.
He's very animated and passionate, which I feel like that's kind of like a dying thing in fishing. I was talking about that with somebody else. It's like, especially Ike's retiring after this season.
Yeah.
It's like all these like young guns are like so calm, cool, and collective. Like you'd think that the younger guys would be like, oh, and they always get accused of that. There's always people like, oh, the YouTube generation, they're just acting all crazy. But I have actually noticed the opposite. Like a lot of these younger guys from like their early, even into their early 30s, are just really calm. So.
Yeah, they are. I'm really impressed. But I love seeing Alex's energy. It was awesome. So glad to have him.
Dude, he was
more
into
events.
it, which makes for good video. So.
I guess we'll get into the main event here, which is kind of all of our guests. Starting with our tourism partner over there at Pulaski County, and we can bring him in now. I think he's here in the green room ready. So, round of applause for Tim Miller. What's up, Tim? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Man, we're doing good. I don't know if you heard us. We were just talking about it's just crazy to leave the chaos with the kids and all that and come down here and then, all right, it's just a different world, different focus, but all as well. And glad to be talking, fishing and the fun stuff and the warmer weather activities that we'll be doing very soon in one of the most beautiful areas I've ever been to and fished. I've fished the New many times around that Claytor Lake area, which is kind of where your town of Pulaski, the home base for this event is. And dude, it is unreal. If people have never been to this event, these cliffs are majestic. Is that true, Tim? Tell us real quick. Are those cliffs, to me, isn't that sort of the evidence and the proof of how old this river is? Because they say the New River is the second oldest river in the world, and they use those cliffs and how much the water has sort of eaten away. Jake might be able to pull up some of those cliffs and show us that. But is that one way they kind of know that it's the second oldest behind the Nile? I mean, how do they know that?
I'm not an expert on the history of the river or the lake, other than having some understanding of how the lake was, because the lake it's man-made.
Right.
And, I've heard the stories of the town that is at the bottom of Claytor Lake. But in terms of the history of the river and how they know, I've wondered that myself. But what you're saying makes perfect sense. To be able to, you can definitely see kind of age lines, if you will, and where some of those cliff walls are along the river. And you're right, it can almost be overwhelming. I know I've been out on the lake, and you're kind of driving along and you sort of look and you're like, wow, like this, you kind of forget where you are. And it's sort of awe inspiring.
Yeah.
Apparently
You figured
it's
you guys-
360 million years old.
360 million.
But then
Wow.
also the French Broad is not far behind, as is the Susquehanna. So those Appalachian, well, I guess technically the French Broad Appalachian, it's down there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for
So-
sure. Well,
But the
Tim,
oldest
you
river
are- or
is the
sorry.
one in Australia, not the Nile.
Huh.
what?
Yeah, the
Every time I've
Finke
done
River-
research, Google research on it, it always says that it's the Nile, then the new. So
it's
where's the
Finke,
Nile?
then the new. The Nile is 7th. So
Can't believe
That's
everything you read on
crazy.
the internet.
No, you can't. I mean, if you're using ChatGPT, maybe it's kind of found the correct answer. You know what I mean? Like if you just used to Google it, it was like always the Nile, then the new. So it's probably correcting us. But either way, you know, we don't really care about that too much. We just know it's an awesome river now, and you know whether it's however many million, it's got great smallmouth fishing in it, and that's why we're there. So it's going to be a good time. Now, Tim, tell us everyone what kind of you do in Pulaski County, and yeah, just welcome us, I guess, to the event here.
Yeah. So I guess about a year and a half ago, maybe a little more than that, Pulaski County formed a sports and entertainment authority, which is basically a sports commission to be responsible for, we've got a number of sports venues, a minor league baseball stadium, a motorsports park. We're building an indoor sports complex. And actually, I sort of consider Claytor Lake one of our sports venues. And so
Yep.
I'm basically responsible for promoting all of those venues for sports and entertainment purposes. So trying to attract tournaments, competitions, in some cases, producing our own events, and, so attracting them and helping to make them successful. I mean, at the end of the day, the name of the game in my job is heads and beds and butts and seats in restaurants and generating tax revenue and all of that stuff. And so, yeah, I work with people like you guys to bring these things to town and try to make them successful. And in fact, your tournament was the very first tournament. So I've been in this job a little over a year, and the Kayak Adventure Series was the first tournament I booked when I started this job.
Nice. Well, hey, hopefully we can set a high bar for you. Hopefully with this event.
Yeah,
so
exactly, you got to deliver.
yeah, I'm telling you, it seems to me like it could be a great center, like a headquarters for other kayak fishing series in the future. I think so, because Claytor, you got a lake, you got the rivers. I mean, I guess kayak fishing, the industry, we do events on the Susquehanna and Hobie, the series. They did one on the New River down. What was it? Was Beckley, or I think Beckley was our headquarters for that one. But a lot of people were saying, "Man, I wish it would have been further down in Virginia," because I think most people like this section a little bit better. The general consensus is, look, I'm just going to say it. I know more about this than I'm letting on. It's better. I fished the whole area. I fished the West Virginia area. I'm a contributor to this podcast too. It's a better section. So people were of course wishing it was a little bit further south. So when I decided to run my own tournament trail and have obviously full control of everything, I said, I'm going to pick the best spots on this planet that I know, and selfishly take us, some places I want to go back to. So here we are. And the fishing, now I will say this, the fishing below Claytor, I fished pretty much all that up to the West Virginia line, all the way in that old section. And but I've not really fished above Claytor, which is south, I guess, above, like, meaning upstream. It's more like south, as this river is rare. It flows, So I'm kind of looking forward to maybe getting on the water one day in that section. And I'm excited about it. The venues we're going to be using, if you want to touch on those real quick, we have our Wednesday welcome dinner right now. Again, guys, these dates or these locations could change, of course. This is way in advance. But right now, I think we're maybe going to go to this Draper Merc Cafe, and these should stay the same because we were pretty settled, weren't we, Tim, on all these venues? The Draper Merc Cafe on Wednesday from 6:30 to 8. That's really cool. It's linked there on the website, guys. If you've not seen that, I can actually share the screen so everyone can see what I'm looking at. Draper Merc Cafe. It's the welcome dinner. That seemed like a really cool spot. I mean,
yeah, it's one of the most popular spots in Pulaski County. It's a very popular spot for visitors.
There we go.
But for
fancy.
for locals as well, they've got a fantastic menu. It's a local company that owns and operates it, and they do a fantastic job. And they've got everything from entrees to salads. They've got one of the best chicken sandwiches I've ever had in my life. So
nice.
We'll have to work on. They often have live music in there on Friday nights. We might have to see if they can do a special live music edition for the welcome dinner. But
this is cool.
I think people that attend that will be absolutely blown away by just the overall experience. It's an old. You feel like you're walking back in time when you walk in there, and there's a little.
This is great
component to it off to the side. It's really cool.
That looks. When I saw that, I thought anyone bringing their wife, the kids, the family to this event, this is going to be a really cool place to stop in. So might as well stop in on Wednesday at our welcome dinner, of course.
Yeah,
since we'll be there. Then on Thursday, by the way, I'll go over that later. I was going to talk to some angler stuff, but as far as venues, let's see. Thursday, our opening ceremonies is at a Great Wilderness Brewing Company. Is this the one that's not built yet, even or done yet, or no?
It is. So, ironically, it is opening on Friday.
Friday. Okay.
Yeah. So they're having their grand opening on Friday. So, he's excited about this. There are a number of events that I'm doing there with him. Yours will be the first. So I'm doing some things later.
Another summer. First. We hit you at the right time. Yeah. I mean, a brand new brewery, the very first event, that you guys are holding there. We hit you at the right time to come there, and the right time of year.
Transforming Pulaski. But the Great Wilderness Brewing Company it's another phenomenal venue. He's taken an old building and completely transformed it. It's got a really cool inside seating area and bar area, but then he's got a big open space outside with picnic tables and lighting and outdoor taps and a stage and the whole 9 yards. So it's it'll be perfect for an opening ceremony kind of environment.
I'm on the map here. Where is it already on the map? Like listed where it's at?
It is. So do you see where it says skate park over there to the right, down at the bottom right? It says Pulaski.
Yeah, over here. Okay, right here.
It's that building just to the left of the skate park.
Right here. Perfect. Oh yeah, we'll be able to have a view of the river there, or the creek. It's not really a river; it's a creek.
It's right on the river. So the building itself is that dark colored roof, and then that field to the left is his. Yep,
there it is.
That's it.
Perfect. It's all done now. That's going to be really cool, guys, for an opening ceremony. And anything to note on parking while we got you here on that?
Yeah, I mean, there's parking around the area. Maybe what I can do is I can send you kind of a parking description kind of thing that you can post on the website. But I mean, there's some parking. You can probably park, I don't know, 20 or 30 cars in the immediate. So that field over to the right, of the building,
this one
will be available for parking. And then if you see that bridge that goes across the river, that goes to more
parking lot right here
over there. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. That's easy.
There's plenty of parking in the area.
Trust me. These anglers are going to want to park over there just because they want to cross the bridge and over the river. We all are just obsessed with.
We might catch some of them fishing off of the bridge, but they're not.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know if they're going to catch much in Peat Creek.
Yeah, it looks pretty small, but I'm sure there's still some bass in it, but probably not. That could be micro bag. We have a micro bag division. It's the smallest 5 fish, and that could be a great for the micro bag division. So another thing to note while we're on here, just so you guys know, some great restaurants and cool stuff. The Pulaski Theater is right here, which we'll get to in a minute. But this isn't like an official hotel partner, but I looked at this. This is a really cool place to stay if you want to stay right in town, walking distance to everything. The opening ceremonies, walking distance to the theater. If you are bringing, family, wife, whoever, that's a great spot. So I was noticing that. So very cool. Let's see what's next here on our list of things. Probably is the theater, honestly. Well, Clater Lake State Park, Shelter 1, we've got reserved for our Bass U brunch, and Jeff Little is speaking, doing on the water fishing demonstration. I haven't added this yet, but Jameson Redding will also be there, another ACA certified instructor, and has his own TV show. He's going to be there working with Jeff on that seminar together. So that's going to be a dual seminar right there on the water. And that is pretty easy to find. If I go back over here again, that Draper Mercantile place wasn't it down here a little bit? So it's kind of, it's over here in Draper. So just south is where the Wednesday welcome dinner was, guys. And then if you look over here is the Clater Lake State Park, because it's just a hop, skip, and a jump, as they say, and especially in the south. And right down 81, and you take this road here, Clater Lake State Park, and we are at Shelter 1, which I can't remember where that is, but you'll see all the shelters, and we put a direct link to it on our. I don't know where one is, but
so it's
somewhere.
If you see that, you're right where that green, marker is, right there. Now go up.
Oh, this one. Here we go. This is one right here.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So we'll park right here, guys, and we'll have food. We'll probably get some food catered, some breakfast, or maybe I'll get a Blackstone and flip. We'll see. We'll figure that out. And right here, Shelter 1. So we'll walk right down to the water. So as you can see on this, we'll cross our fingers and pray for some great weather. It's mid-May. It should be beautiful there. Usually is. And right here in the water, they will be doing their on the water seminars and demonstrations. So that'll be really cool. And then the next thing, we go to the theater at on Saturday. So back to the theater and hanging out. And the meetups basically right back at the theaters are 3 to 5:30 sort of meetup. And then the awards start at 6 at the Pulaski Theater. And I'll go back to the map, and you guys can see back where that is. And then tell us about that theater, though. It's pretty historic, pretty old theater, it looks like. And
it's a beautiful restored theater. The one thing I will say in addition to that, so it's right on Main Street in downtown Pulaski, and that very same day there's a street festival going on called.
Oh, that's right.
So there'll be live music and vendors and food, and so it's one of the things you and I need to still work out a little bit is how we're going to integrate into that. But for all of all of your participants, it's going to be an added.
Yeah.
Wow! Look at that.
Yeah, is that dino going to be there? We need to get that dino there. Yeah, that I'm excited about that. I remember you telling me about that, and I thought, well, this is great. It's kind of like what Thomaston, Georgia did. They just threw a big festival called Shoalipalooza, which was the name of our event. And I think they may still do that every year. I'm not sure, but they just threw their annual sort of one of their festivals right on top of ours and called it Shoalipalooza and brought all the local vendors out. And it was really, really cool.
Yep.
So actually, and then for this one, I'll go back to the parking. There's a little, this little alley right here is key because you can park here in this lot and then just walk down this alley and go right to the theater. So
the only thing I will say is because of that street festival, we're going to have to work on parking a little bit more and figure out we'll have to figure out what that looks like.
Maybe some of these lots over here or somewhere, but we'll figure it out, and we'll have other podcasts. We do a show the Wednesday before the tournament week, and we finalize those details. And of course, during tournament week, Jake and I are always communicating with the anglers via email, text, push notifications, all that stuff. So we'll get that figured out. But I'm excited. It's just a perfect size town. It's got everything we need. It's not too busy, crazy with some of us were just at Kissimmee, Florida, trying to do a tournament down there on the Kissimmee chain with Bassmaster, and it was a little bit frustrating with how much traffic is going on in these bigger towns down there. And I love the size of your town. You're just right in the outdoors. I mean, look at this. I'm excited about it. Is there anything else you can think of, Jake or Tim, that we are not touching on or missing about the town and the area? Maybe lodging. I mean, you want lots of Airbnbs and some hotels, but
yeah. I mean, there are lots of Airbnbs around the lake. We've got 7 different hotels. There are a couple of hotels close to the Clater Lake State Park. There's some other hotels in the what's called the Dublin area of Pulaski County, and then obviously you mentioned the Jackson Park Inn, which is a beautiful. It was originally a warehouse that's been restored into a beautiful historic hotel, and it's a great place to stay. So there's all that. We've got 3 wineries, we've got 3 golf courses. We've got the New River Trail. If people bring their families and their families are looking for things to do, there's the 57-mile New River Trail. There's Gatewood Park, which is another park on a reservoir. So there's, and then we're in the mountains, so there's lots of hiking trails and biking trails and all that kind of stuff that the anglers probably won't have time for, but if they bring family that are looking for something to do, or if they want to take part of their day to do something like that, it's
Sunday they're free. Hey, they're free on Sunday. If they're not driving home, you guys stick around on Sunday, do some of that stuff. Jay Cook is saying he's excited about it. This is one of the events he's really excited for. But Virginia is a great fishery, he's saying so, and he's excited about the theater too. So we can't wait.
I think that a lot of anglers probably tend to shade towards Airbnbs in my experiences, just because they always bring so much stuff. But
the other thing too is Claytor Lake State Park. They've got campsites, they've got RV hookups, they've got tent sites. So I mean that's another option as well. Although I would say if anybody's considering doing that, I would look into it right now because it fills up fast. And we know there's a wedding going on. Some of the stuff's already booked for the cabins. So the campers would be good there.
I think
that's something we need to. So for year 2, we need to make sure while you guys are here in May, I need to show you guys the cabins there, because we need to get on top of that for year 2, because I think that's kind of a game changer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're excited. So the Claytor Lake State Park, what I'll say, it is nice if you're camping. It's a great place. If you guys tend to want camp together, it's great because then you can kind of share resources. The anglers can share resources, share stories, share campfires, hang out, have a few drinks and have a little dinner together around the fire. It's more fun. That's the whole premise of our series, right? It's definitely about just the hanging out and the fellowship and the camaraderie. So I would recommend you guys booking at Claytor Lake because it's central to all the water downstream and upstream. It's kind of like you can go any direction from right there. And of course, and you're close to other restaurants and things as well. So highly recommend that. And looking forward to this one, Tim. I appreciate you guys over there and can't wait to see you in person and just get into this one. And of course, can't wait for the warmer weather as well. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we'll catch you, I guess, later, and I'll start talking to some anglers now. We're right on time. We're 1 minute off, guys. We're doing really good. So thanks, Tim.
All right. Thanks. Appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
All right. See ya. Whoops. At the same time you did. What's up, Eric? Bringing in the anglers here. What's up, Timmy Dixon? Well, let me introduce you guys here. Timmy Dixon, we'll go with you first.
No audio, if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
You might have to. Can you hear us now? Can you hear us or no? Maybe go out and go back in. If you can hear us, maybe go out and go back in. We'll check with Eric first. How about that? Eric, you're an angler that fished South Bassathon last year, right? Yeah. And you guys, tell us, Jake. You talk to Eric while I text Timmy. Okay.
I don't know.
I'll remove him. I'll talk to Timmy. You guys can chat.
So have you fished this area before?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I grew up in Southwest Virginia, so I'm actually from where a lot of the boundary waters are in.
Okay, yeah. Do you think that this is better than the upper portions that is it the upper or is it technically the lower? I don't know. Which one is it low? So the further south is actually upper. Okay.
And the lower New is back to the north. So it's one of the only rivers that flows north. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah, I've always been curious about the New River because it's like one of those rivers that like legitimately has the chance to produce like actual 23s. Like you see, I mean, they're not like you can't just go out there and catch one, but I see like every time you see one kind of pop up, it's like, oh, it was New River.
I've seen them in person. They are there. They're unicorns, but they're there. And it's actually the one I seen was caught by a good friend of mine, and it was in the waters available for this tournament.
Ooh, maybe he's still out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
you-
we should put a bounty. If someone catches a 23 inch smallmouth, they have to get some big prize. Because
Sheegan will. It's the quest for 23. Sheegan will certainly get a prize for that. Timmy, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I'm good, guys. How y'all doing? Jake?
Doing good, man.
Good.
Good.
Hey.
Watch
Doing good
Jake
now.
on the gram every day.
Too much. I post too much, man. I gotta stop.
Yeah, well, that's what you do, man. Yeah. Timmy, you guys both, Eric, I may have missed you, might have answered this, but you guys both know the section upstream of Clater, right? Pretty well. Timmy, your shop you run is tell everyone about that shop, the name of it, where they can find you. I mean, because you're gonna have some resources for the anglers if they need anything down in the southern part of our boundary.
Yeah, my business is called New River Outdoor Ventures, and I'm located right in Freeze, Virginia, next to the low water bridge. Actually, it's the Galax address, but I'm down there on the river, and I carry some fishing supplies and whatnot. I mostly do delivery stuff, but then I provide shuttles and fishing stuff, and I'm there to help if somebody needs it.
You got any retail? Do you sell retail kayaks too?
I did, but not right
so much
now. No, I took a little break from that.
Yeah. What are you fishing out of? I couldn't remember what kayak you fish out of. Bonafide?
I got a Bonafide PWR.
Yeah.
One. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
I was going to bring that up real quick because we want to touch on, because Hans wanted to come on the show. He had some stuff going on. He's been on our show, twice already, every year that Bonafide supports us. We wanted to mention real quick that they're going to be our kayak sponsor for this event. And so they're donating the kayak to raffle off. It's going to be a RVR. So it's a perfect event. It's a river event. That's a river kayak. So they're donating that kayak, and that money is going to go to our nonprofit, which is the ACA, to help more people get certified out there. So if somebody out there listening, send us a message on our contact form or send me an email at Drew@Kayak Adventure Series. And if you want to get certified by the ACA in kayak fishing, which they teach safety and instruction and stuff like that, so that you can go teach others in your communities around this country safety, then there we go. Nice, Jake. Then
right?
Let us know, because that RVR, the RVR is all the money that you guys raise when someone's going to win that at the very end of our awards. That's what that's for. So we just want to shout out Bonafide. They've supported us every year. They're awesome over there. Great people. So thank you guys for that. And thank you, Hans and the Bonafide crew. And but back to the 23 inchers, right? And back to what you guys want to, what everyone really wants to talk about, right? Brian Slayton says he'll catch them. So we'll see, Brian. We'll see if you can get that 23.
I'm gonna go.
But yeah, it'd be awesome if someone caught a 23. That would be incredible. But you guys will do your research. You'll see there was, am I correct here? There was a North Carolina record. I remember, used to live in Charlotte, so not far. That was like a 9-pounder caught out of the New River, or kind of in that section, in that near the North Carolina, maybe in North Carolina is actually technically where it was. Wasn't there like a 9-pounder that was like 23 something inches or something, or 24, some big state record that came out of there? You guys know about that, or?
Timmy, do you know? I haven't heard.
I don't think I know. I know I've seen a big smallmouth. I think it was 8 and change, but it come out of the joining where it joins next to the border of the. I think it come out of the Holston. But it was really close to the new. Like it was right at the line of Tennessee and Virginia. So
yeah, that doesn't surprise me, because the Holston, like that river has some giants in it. So for it and the new to come together, that seems like a logical spot.
Mm-hmm. I could have sworn there was a big one, like 9 pounds caught there, but I might also be wrong here. But someone could do some research on that. But I know giants have been caught in both sections, above the lake, below the lake, this whole section we're in. So I don't think the traffic and the pressure from the anglers is going to be in one spot or another. Like some lake tournaments, everyone kind of finds where the grass is or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting to see where the winner comes from in this event. I mean, it's what's the differences between the section that you guys know really well. We'll start with Eric on this question. What's the differences between this section versus the other section that's basically Claytor Lake down or up, downstream to the West Virginia border?
Yeah, I would say the very southern boundary, kind of like near mouth of Wilson, Virginia, right there where the forks come together. It's a little bit smaller ecosystem right there, and as it flows to the north, getting closer to Claytor, it gets to be a little bit bigger. Start having a little bit more deeper water, deeper ledges, that sort of thing. And as you get below Claytor, there's some sections down there that have a lot of deeper water. And some of their deeper water isn't just deep and slow. It's actually got a good bit of fast current mixed in. And as you get closer to West Virginia, you start getting more whitewater mixed in. And then going into West Virginia, kind of outside the border, that's when it gets pretty rough. Is a lot of the rougher rapids down in that section.
Yeah. Some beautiful. I mean, just look at these shoals, guys. I mean, it's just ledge after ledge and just a wide, beautiful river.
Yeah,
there's a
right
good bit
there.
of current
Crazy.
all through those sections. Very consistent.
What'd you say there? I'm sorry, I missed that, Eric.
I just said there's just a good bit of current, on the upper and lower New. You'll have stagnant areas, but it won't be long until you get back into some faster water.
Yeah. If you like to fish grass, you got grass islands that should be popping up by that time of year, like a willow type grass, it looks like. I've even seen parts of this river that have some lily pads, believe it or not. In some sections, it's not very often, but you got good grass and you got rock, obviously, wood, and just insane, just shoals like this.
Yeah, it's Foster Falls, it looks like.
Foster Falls area. That's just insane.
Yeah, above the dams, you can find largemouth too. There's sections where there are some pretty good largemouth opportunities. And there's several dams included in this water. So definitely some opportunity if somebody wanted to kind of do something a little bit different for largemouth in the river as well.
You think it's everyone has a different strategy, but you guys, Timmy, what do you think? I mean, you're a really good angler. You fished Bassmaster on the Susquehanna. I remember you stayed with us that one time at that event, and you know smallies really well. And do you think that, just in your personal opinion for strategy, you think it's better to cover a longer distance or just to hunker down and focus, that time of year in just sections like this that are wide in these shoals and just pick a good, half mile apart, most of the day? I mean, what's your strategy, you think, when it comes to stuff like that?
I'll probably fish this one this year, maybe a team of it, but yeah, I mean that time of year is a crapshoot, man. I mean, it really depends on the water temperature, the water clarity, and the time of year it's going to be. You're going to have some big fish, and whether the spawn pushes on through or it's already happened or it's kind of a little bit. I've seen it go as long as this and fish are still holding. I mean, it's a 2-day tournament, so it really wouldn't surprise me if we got really high numbers. But you got to have everything line up just like you do with everything else.
Yeah,
I just do kind of like I'll take a page out of your book. So you're just a machine.
Just cover water.
That's probably what I would do.
Absolutely.
I want a creek now. Of course, that's what I would do, right? So, but do you guys think any of the creeks could be a player? I mean, or is it just who knows? I mean, are they sort of an unknown in this tournament? I know Claytor Lake. You guys, I think people in the area, I could be wrong, but tell me if I am. I think Claytor Lake, if you go fish this lake in this tournament, you're going to have it mostly to yourself because most of the people that come to this area of the country with that river and those smallmouths tend to fish the river. Am I right? I mean,
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing about Clater, Clater has some really big fish, but for the most part, those fish don't really show up until February through, I'm gonna say through May. It takes a lot of weight there in the boat tournaments. I mean, it'll take 25 pounds a couple times a year.
Mm-hmm.
Usually have to have a couple largemouth mixed in, but I have seen some really big bags of smallmouth come out of the lake.
Yeah.
They've taken a lot of the grass out of the lake, and so it's a little bit void of cover. But that time of the year, there'll still be largemouth on bed. Might be some smallmouth, a few stragglers still on bed in the lake. They do spawn just a little bit earlier in the lake.
Right.
But I do think somebody could definitely find some big largemouth on bed in the tournament.
Yeah. So it could be a player. Let's don't count it out.
Yeah, we didn't expect it at the broodstock event, and then all of a sudden 106 inches that came out of a lake out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
If
Throwing
you guys
back 5-pounders in that event, I'm like, oh, must be nice.
Yeah. And the actual map for this event, let me click on it. If you guys go to the website, then you'll see the 2-week practice window. First of all, we always like to mention that on this preview show. The 2-week practice window begins on 5/1, so May 1st. So whether you're registered or not, if you're fishing this event, you can only spend 4 days on eligible water between there and the tournament Friday. So Wednesday the Friday the 15th there. So 4 days, but you get to pick which days, which is nice because if you live local enough, 2, 3, 4 hours, you can make a weekend, 2 weekends prior, go fish it on your off days from work, and then come roll right in on that, on that Friday, or Thursday, check in or whatever. Or you can just take all however many days you get, 2, 3, 4, all right there in that 1 week, just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, up to you guys, but we're letting you guys make the choice. And then, I think that covers that. I'm gonna go back to the map here real quick because if you on the website, guys, you scroll down and here's where it shows the eligible water. We were talking about Clater Lake, but there are 2 other lakes, Hogan and Gatewood. Now, in some crazy event, which did happen on the Susquehanna when it flooded because of a tropical storm, a hurricane that came up there, the lake actually did play. I mean, the big bass was actually caught out of a small lake there that nobody would have fished if there wasn't a flooded Susquehanna. But there's Clater, obviously Hogan, and Gatewood. So let's just, you guys know anything? I may have the wrong guys on here to talk about lakes. Do you know anything about Gatewood Reservoir?
Yeah, I've fished it a little bit. Haven't fished it very much recently, but Gatewood's, it doesn't really show it there, but it's a very steep mountain lake, very clear water, a lot of big largemouth in there. Okay,
so somebody wants to go largemouthing, maybe even scoping. The electronic guys, it's a lot harder to scope on the river, so they might give it a shot. Who knows? There was another lake that we saw that was public, it looked like, called Hogan. If it's not, tell me now so we can pull it off, but it appeared to be. So we added it. Do you guys know anything about this lake?
I'm not familiar with Hogan.
It looks very mountainous, like you're saying about the other lake. Either way, we have some backup plans. We obviously got giant, well, not giant, but pretty good sized Clater Lake. If it floods, everyone will have some safe water to fish. And creeks and rivers and all that, of course. I mean, creeks and smaller rivers, they clear up quicker than the new. So if the new's blown out, you guys have places to go. We can also get into downstream of Clater a little bit until Jody shows up. He was going to try to make it. He had a dinner thing going on tonight. So if he doesn't make it, it's all good. We will. I can cover downstream. But you guys, have you done much fishing in that section or not as much?
Eric has probably. I have not.
Yeah, I went to college up in Blacksburg, just 20 minutes from where that picture is. So I spent a decent bit of time when I was in college down there. I don't have as much experience down that way, but I know enough to kind of talk about it.
Well, obviously the first thing is the dam, so it's dam controlled, so it's going to be able to rise at any moment's notice. Like, a foot, 2 foot just comes up, out of nowhere when they're running water and generating, which they will be most likely at, some point that time of year. There's a good chance we could get, some pretty decent flows. It's May. We're not talking, August here, July. So this is a coin flip on what we're going to get, and that dam's going to control that. So pay attention to that. The dam schedule, you can look that up. Like you said, it rolls through. There's a few dams on this section of little dammed up areas downstream. We'll get to them here in a minute. It rolls kind of through some town there. That's, Radford. And then as a big giant bend here and loops around. And there's launches all over. You guys can find them. But it's got a lot of the same stuff we saw on the last section with a lot of just beautiful shoals. It gets a lot bigger here. It's a good quarter mile wide at least right here in this section. So
I can confirm, just as an update, Hogan Lake is not public.
Okay, we'll take that off.
If you're interested in making it part of this tournament, it is for sale for $2.7 million, and it's 17 acres.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Make them an offer.
Yeah. So we'll pull that one off. It appeared to be public, but that's good. That's good to know. Good info. You guys can see how these mountain ridges go. Right now it's going east to west here, and then you can see those lines. I mean, that's just so cool to see how the river just eventually whittled its way down. You can still see them going across. What happened there? I don't know what happened to my screen, but anyway, you guys, I'm talking about. Anytime it cuts through, when you go out this 30,000 foot view, you see those mountain ridges there, everybody. Whenever you zoom in and it's cutting through a ridge, you're going to find those shoals. Same thing on the Susquehanna, and it's just really good oxygenated habitat for smallmouth. They need that. They utilize the entire river, the slow sections, and the deeper sections, the pools, the winter end. They use it all, and this is going to be a time of year that, like you guys have mentioned, it's a transition. It's in between. I talked to Jamison Redding about this the other day when I confirmed he was going to come speak for us, and he said the new, in his opinion, it's really good in like March and maybe early April. Then all of a sudden they kind of get to where they start to spawn, and they almost like shut down for a whole month. And you just like, what happened? I was just catching like 40 and 50 fish a day like last week, and all of a sudden for like a month it gets just super challenging. You can't find them. But then once May hits, about mid-May, he says first midweek of May, it turns back on. They all kind of turn back on. But like to Timmy's point, they may still be on bed. It may not. But Jamison thought we were there at the exact right time.
Post spawn river smallmouth are insane. Like everyone talks about pre-spawn, and sure, that's when they're at their heaviest, right? Well, technically they're at their heaviest in the winter, but post-spawn river smallmouth are nuts. They are just like they're like smallmouth on steroids or something. They're just amped up. They're hungry. They're like, I don't know. It's like my favorite time to fish for them, from like May to basically like early July.
Yeah, I agree. Now what's some of the top baits you guys like to throw for smallmouth in the new? Just general. You don't have to give us everything specific. Don't give away all the juice, but just general May baits.
Hula poppers.
Well, I'll start off and I'll say I actually had my best day I've ever had on the new in May, like the 3rd, 4th week of May. So right around the time of this tournament. So it can be a really good time. But, I like to run around like a chicken with my head cut off, kind of like Drew does. So I power fish a lot, make as many casts as I possibly can throughout the day, and just cover as much water as possible. So I'm not typically very stagnant in an area unless it's the wintertime. Top water, throwing a chatterbait, spinnerbait, that type of thing.
Nice. What you, Eric? You got any? Or sorry, who was? I couldn't even see you. Who was talking just then? Was that Timmy or Eric?
Eric was talking.
No. Okay, yeah. So Timmy, what do you think, man? Bait. Give us some good baits. These guys should be.
Checking out. I don't know. I move too, and I power fish a lot. So just cranks, blade baits, and stuff. It used to be just tubes and jigs, but I still throw them some, and they work good and crawfish and stuff. But yeah, I'm that time of year. I'm looking for a big bite, and it seems like I just cover as much water as I can.
Yeah.
It seems like I do better when I cover a lot.
It seems like what Tim just said is something that I hear a lot from people. And it's interesting because like the old ways of smallmouth fishing is like, oh, tubes, jigs, red crankbait, right? And now more and more people are starting to realize like, wait a second, we can catch smallmouth all kinds of ways, sometimes even more effectively when you cover water, slinging chatterbaits, moving baits, stuff like that. And I hear that from so many people around the country, because there's a lot of people down in the Ozarks that are just like committed, like, oh, if they're not eating a tube, they're not eating, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. The boundary for the northern, the downstream launch boundary is right here, guys. This is basically at the border of West Virginia. So I'll say this rapid you see here, it starts to get broken up and looks more bouldery. That's what it changes to. It changes from those straight across sort of shoals we were showing earlier. And once you get to West Virginia, there's really not as much of that. It's more bouldery, like rapid, especially when you actually get in West Virginia.
That's where it gets a little bit more
bigger rapids.
Too.
But even though it's a rapid here, you can sneak this thing on the right hand side and it's nothing, right? But so obviously be smart if you're going to go downstream, because KAS rules, those launch boundaries are just boundaries to launch. You can go downstream where I'm showing here as far as you want and even take out down here. But you'll just notice that the topography just starts to change, especially kind of further than you guys are going to be able to get. It just starts to change. Like it obviously goes into Bluestone Lake first, but after that you start getting up here and it just becomes more just a different kind of rapids, you know? So while we're on the topic of I prefer the shoals, by the way, not the boulders. I love those shoals. But the downstream or the upstream, south boundary is right here at Baywood. So 58. So in theory, if you have a motor or paddle, you want to go upstream from here, go as far as you want. You can go all the way down. If you can get all the way to North Carolina if you want to. Right here, if you can make it that far with a motor. I don't think anybody will get that far, but it just shows the boundaries for you guys on this thing. And then of course, any rivers we did list, anything that's called a river, we usually list it. So it's only the Little River is the only thing I think that's actually named a river. Everything else that flows into the New or the Little River or creeks, which are totally legal because they're connected to this water. So keep that in mind too. Now the Little River is little. I can zoom in and show you. It's not big, but it really is a creek. But you never know. You never know. They're worth checking out. At times they can be players in these events. So, but what do you guys think it'll take to win? Let's get into that now. What do you guys think it'll take to win the event? Is this a low 90s, mid 90s, possibly even cracking? Because we're talking 4 hours of fishing on one day and a full 9 hour in the next. That's maybe even more than 4. We might have it listed on there as 4.5. So could someone get 100?
I think it's certainly possible. I'm going to say 99.25. That's my prediction.
Yeah, just under.
I'm like 105.
I think it's.
Looks like Justin Akers. What did you say, Timmy? What was your guess?
I said I'm like 105. I think it's. I don't know. I believe. I think it's going to be. It's going to be a stellar weekend, man. I'm so pumped up for this. I'm just glad y'all are coming. So
yeah,
hope
I think
we
100
get
inches
huge
is like
bites.
definitely doable.
94.75.
I know it's going to take more than that.
The first evening session really gives people the opportunity to swing for the fences, and I've noticed that in every event we've ever done, because you get that little extra time where it's almost like sure, you're only getting 4 hours in the evening, which doesn't seem like a lot, but you basically have an extra fishing trip to kind of figure it out. So
yeah, it's going to be. If the hours stay the same, which usually they do. I've got this down to a little bit of a science. It's supposed to be launch 2:30, lines in at 3, lines out at 7:30. So you get 4.5 hours. So
like I was saying earlier, this is a really good time to come here. We're going to have good water levels. I mean, there's always a chance it could be blown out, but I think by mid-May, things get more stable. But there's still enough water in the river to keep, things aren't clear.
Dragging. Yeah,
you're exactly, and the water's going to be up enough to where those fish should be really aggressive and eating. I think it's an excellent time.
Yeah, I think it's perfect. Like you said, I think we nailed this right. Just perfect on the money, the time of year. If it does flood or if it does rain big time, I encourage you guys to not freak out one bit, because that, believe it or not, even though it doesn't look great, fish chew in that. They just absolutely chew. You can find the right areas and they sort of stack up because they have to be positioned in the only current breaks that are on the river, because there's less and less and less the higher it gets. Now, we're not sending people out in a flood or anything, an actual flood, which, you guys had not too long ago, Timmy. I know you were doing a lot of flood cleanup and posting pictures of that historic flood. But that is actually good for it sucks for humans and what we have to deal with floods, but it's good for the river to get all the nutrients from the floodplain. The new trees get knocked down and fall over, which creates new nutrients and life, and it just it blows out old silt and stuff and sand and opens up holes that weren't, that they were buried in the past. So I think we're coming just off of that flood, which was how long ago was that flood? A year and a half ago or something, or a year?
Yeah.
Was it last year?
24.
A year and a half ago.
So, okay, a year and a half ago. So it's the perfect time to sort of recover and go there, because there's a saying,
Drew. That's a good way to look at it, because it does create new things for the river, but a lot of there's probably a lot of guys that's going fishing that's fished before, but it's changed. It's a new river. Some of it, the fish are still there, but
maybe that's why they call it the new river. We ever thought about that?
It changes. There's the saying. It is
new.
There's the saying that no man has ever stepped in the same river twice, as the river is not the same and the man is not the same. So you could have just stuck with just the river's not the same, because that's the truth, okay? Because it changes every time, from rain to rain and level to level. And you think you're a pro at this certain section of the river, well, it's all sort of, shaken up by this flood. So I think we're hitting it just right, and can't wait to be there. So I think I like your optimism with 105. I think I'm going to go less than that. Probably most tournaments, I feel like usually all the anglers over guess the amount, and it's what you're saying. They're optimistic. They know what they've done in the past, but they forget about the pressure of pre-fishing and all the other anglers that also may have found those fish, and it slowly kind of eats into what their total can get, their ceiling, a little bit, because somebody's fishing the same area. You're not getting it all to yourself for the biggest five. They might catch one or two that you would have caught if they weren't there. So I'm going to say it's going to be like in the 90, 97 and a half, 98 range. I still think it's there. I think if the Great Miami River in Ohio can get 96 and a quarter to win a KAS tournament,
dude, don't sleep on the Great Miami, man. That river is nuts.
It was great. It was the Great Miami. It's also got a good name, because it was great. And then the New River, certainly, and I fished it. Like I said, my first time there was when I selfishly, again, I was the director of campus recreation at North Georgia University, and I needed to I wanted to create an outdoor program, right? So I created an outdoor adventures program, and we go on 3 trips a year. You sign up, all the students sign up. It really was just a way for me to go to 3 cool places, and I could take them like hiking and kayaking and fishing and stuff. Now I'm just, we're camping down the New River. We spent 2 nights on the river, a river camping trip. And again, actually come back to think of it, there was a tropical storm that came through, and my boss was very concerned that we were doing this, trip. And I remember in the rain, in a jacket, I caught on a buzzbait, just caught a giant like 20-incher, and I was so fired up. It was my first time to be in that section. So I got some great memories for sure with this river, and can't wait to get back and even explore some new sections. So I have fished right there in Freeze one time with Jameson and Brooks Beatty. So I have fished right there, but never really done float trips on that section. but I'm looking forward to it. Now, if you guys didn't notice, this is the main event presented by Omnia Fishing, and the code is KAS10 if you feel like getting 10% off. We're not the best at really pumping and pushing codes and stuff like that. We don't really have a lot with our sponsors, but if you feel like it, it's there. Really. Yeah, save you some money. The team division will be fun. The 2-man team, of course. So you got the micro bag, which is the little mini insurance policy you guys can, of course, enter if in addition to all the other
this is a great micro
divisions.
Bag river, by the way. Great micro bag river.
It should be great. The creek should be good. Like Timmy, you said it best too, that 2-man team division. I mean, if you don't want to enter the whole thing, all the other $150 individual, the KAS King individual division, you could easily just go in with a buddy for $75. Have some fun. Come join the festivities over there, and all the opening and closing ceremonies and everything in between. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I think it's gonna be a fun one. So, and you guys, anybody have any other thoughts or things to bring up that you can think about for this event before we close it out? Because I don't know if Jody's gonna make it or not. It's 8:05 and he's not here yet, so probably not. But what have we missed? Anything?
What's going to be the biggest bass caught?
Yeah, what's our top?
What's big bass?
21.75.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's certainly possible. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if we didn't hit a 22, but I think 21.5 to a 22.
I always think like that when we go to the Susquehanna events. I'm always like, oh, it's just going to be like a 21 something. And then somewhere out of nowhere, someone always catches like a 22.25 every time. And I'm like, where did this fish come from? Because everyone always says like, oh, they're rare. And someone manages to find one. Now, granted, those Bassmaster events have like 250 people. So the odds are more in their favor.
We forgot. Yeah, it's true. We did forget about Creek Crawler is already going to catch the 23. We know that. Remember, that's what he said. Jake reminded us of that. And on a glide bait, probably would.
No, it's going to be topwater. That's all he throws.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I'm excited about. Is top water. We are in prime topwater season. It hits around mid-April there, and it gets really strong once you get to May. I hope it is clear enough for that. That would be really cool for everyone to be able to experience that. If not, you're going to chatterbait and spinnerbait yourself. Get some arms broke that way, which is fine too. But topwater is a blast. Speaking of the big bass, I'm glad you did mention that. It's the last thing before we'll kind of wrap this up. I think with the 4 hours on Friday, what Jake just alluded to, there is a chance. I've caught bass on beds in middle Georgia in late May, Memorial Day weekend, like late May. So I know that there will still be some in some places on beds. And if someone finds a big largemouth on a bed or can just catch a big largemouth on the lakes, if someone goes to one of the lakes on Friday and just focuses on just getting that, there's a chance we could be a little bit, surprised or blown away by, obviously the Smarlie is the star of the show at these events that feature smallmouth, but a big largemouth is there for the potential. So we'll see. We'll see if that
it happened at the Tawanda event.
It did. Yeah.
I saw it submitted and I was like, I told Drew, I was like, that's a largemouth before I even clicked on it. And then we clicked on it and sure enough, he tainted the event.
He did.
I haven't fished Clater much, but I have caught one over 23 on Clater. So, I mean, they're there. Not a smallmouth, but a largemouth like we were talking about. But
what's some of the bigger ones that have come out of Clater? I mean, I'm sure they caught 24, 25s, maybe.
There's not been a lot of like actual kayak tournaments that's visited Clater, but I mean, there's been
bass boat
over 10 caught. Yeah, I mean,
has there? Oh, over 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like this question. Is that what you researching?
Okay, never mind. That was apparently they caught there's spotted bass in there. That can't be right.
Yeah, well, there are now.
There's Kentuckies and there are some Alabamas that's been put in there.
That's
actually
the bad
one of my friends had the state record. Alabama that was in there. It was like 4.5 pounds.
Okay, that's what I just saw. It was like 4.5 pounds on the 20th. Or the 1st of January, 2020.
That is the bad news about that. And I'm glad you mentioned that because they moved there. They're in Smith Mountain lake as well. They're kind of making their way, and the Virginia biologists are really freaking out about this big time, and they should be, because you guys heard of a lake in North Georgia called Lake Blue Ridge? It used to be an awesome smallmouth fishery. The water from Georgia flows north across the border to Tennessee and flows into the Tennessee River, right? Toccoa River. There's two lakes there. I can't remember the name of the other one, North Georgia, but both of them used to be amazing smallmouth fisheries. Nottally, maybe, yeah, because they're the only native black bass that were in there were smallmouth and largemouth, but also Kentuckies, which don't hybridize with those, so it's fine. Every once in a while, you'll catch one that's a mean mouth, but not very often.
They definitely not very often. But they're not as aggressive about it. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't do very. It's not like it's a threat. They naturally have been there forever. Yeah, so they for hundreds of millions, however many years they've been living together, and they're not mixing to where the genetics of either is gone, right? A pure one. So Alabama's is different. So those lakes now, if you go talk to people, they're like, yeah, can't even catch a smallmouth there anymore. They're all Alabama bass, all of them. So they either outcompeted them because they're a little bit better in those open Clearwater lakes, or hybridized them out, and then so the genetics aren't pure. So that's a problem. The good news is, if there is any good news, I think the shoal bass in the Flint River have proven they are better at the shoals and feeding, like how smallmouth live in the rocks and the shoals and swift water, better than Alabama. So they've never really out competed them and kicked them out of the Flint River completely. The shoal bass, it's still a problem. We don't like it. Just like I don't like the fact they're in Plater, but I don't think they're going to do as well in the river. So maybe the smallmouth will hold. What's that movie? Hold, and then they go fight. I don't know what movie it is, but maybe it's like Patriot.
It's a smallmouth tournament. It's smallmouth. Yeah, a largemouth gets DQ'd. It's automatic.
You should. You should. At the very least, you should just get a little. I don't know. Shunned a little bit from the fellow anglers.
They have the restrictor plates for certain races so you don't go so fast. I feel like if you catch a largemouth, you have to get a 1-inch penalty or something.
Yeah, something. You got to do something. Perfect Level Fishing Adventures here. He says, is whitewater community friendly to fishermen? You guys can answer this, but I would say they're pretty friendly. But the good news is, the real true whitewater section and the kayakers are more in West Virginia, but you will still see just general paddlers out there, and some of them might be playing on some of those rapids and play waves and stuff, but they've all seemed to be pretty friendly anytime I've ran across any of them.
Yeah, and I'm excited for this one too, because I think, the last national event we had on the new with the Hobie sort of gave it a little bit of a bad rap just with the way the results went. It was late summer, the water was low, and
right.
Really the sections that were included with a lot of the West Virginia waters, it wasn't included the best waters, in my opinion, that the New River has to offer. And I think, this tournament definitely, encompasses the best sections.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good time of the year. So I think it's going to be good.
Nick, you got to finish your comment. If you win on large, something. So tell us what he's going to threaten somebody right now. Nick has been to the New River quite a bit. I actually took him there on a guide trip.
Fist in the air if you win.
Yeah, if you went on large. And Nick knows Timmy really well and been up there. So good friend of mine. And hopefully I learned some good tips when I took him on a guide trip over there. And he could hopefully make this event. I know he's a busy guy, but hopefully you're making that one, Nick. We'd love to see you, of course. But yeah, that's all I know about all that stuff. And we're pretty much running up on 8:15, and we're going to end here because we want to. Oh, here he goes. He's his comment. Let's finish with this. If you win a largemouth, you get an asterisk next. That's it. You get an asterisk next to your name. Yes, I agree.
Hobie fished the wrong section of river. The thing that would really surprise me about that event is I feel like they did that for a safety standpoint, but then they also picked the more dangerous stretch. And I was just like,
I think it was because the venue was up in West Virginia, is what I thought.
Yeah,
it was.
Maybe. They might have just had a hard time finding a city. It's challenging. We know that.
Yeah. It's just the city that wanted to have them there, and they went there, and it can be good. I've had some good fishing up there too. I have. It's not. It's just like someone used. Eric said the time of year. time of year is what made it tough. And I ended up second in that tournament. So, I mean, I got no complaints, but but I mean, it was definitely a tough bite. And the time of year was tough. I think we're going to the Juniata. We're going obviously to the New River in May and the Juniata in June. And we're just trying to break the mold a little bit. So, you know, like it's kind of been done on a national level, saying we don't just have to go to these river events in July, August, or September. You know what I mean? Like they're safe. Yeah, there we go.
Look at that. Jody's there too.
RJ Jody got third. Yeah, yep. I'll tell you this story. Jody and I were on stage. Was that RJ who won? Is that Hoover? Is that his last name?
Yeah, it was.
Is it Hoover? RJ?
Michigan. Yeah.
Yes, and he found a really good spot. But
he came out from Canada, right? Or is that...
No, Michigan, right?
Michigan.
You said
okay.
Michigan.
I knew it was like up north.
That was a fun event because I ended up going like from, I don't know where I was on day one. I was somewhere around like 20 something place, maybe even 30th. I was not, you know what I mean? I would have been like a day two dark horse if they had the day two dark horse tackle award like we do. If you guys don't know about that, Eric, you know, you were at the event last year. Day two dark horse is the person who moves up the most places from day one to day two. They come out of nowhere and somehow they're 30, 40, you know, whatever, 60 places up the leaderboard from Friday to Saturday. If that was a prize category, I pretty much would have won potentially. That was down
on day two or day one.
At 72 inches on day one.
Yeah.
Came back
on day two. I remember when you caught that back.
And Jody was like, yeah, that's right. He was up there when I was up there next to him. He's like, what are you doing up here? How'd you get up here? We were sitting there chatting, you know, as AJ's doing the awards. And then he just couldn't, I don't think he thought that he was going to get called before me because I was so far down. And I just blew it on day one. If I'd caught those fish and figured them out a little bit sooner or figured out how to catch them, I lost some too. I don't know if I would have beaten RJ, but it was a fun event. So they can still be caught in the summer, but I think we're there at the exact right time. We're willing to take the risk for you guys, for the anglers that you might end up, of course, in some higher and muddy conditions than you'd prefer. And the waters, but the waters can be the right temperature and the right time of the year for, if all the stars align, for you to have one of the most magical smallmouth trips of your life. I mean, no doubt about it. What you guys just said, that's the time of year that it just goes down if you're going to pick. So we're trying to schedule it the best we can. And if we get unlucky with a hurricane and the Susquehanna like we did, that's just bad luck, you know? So, but we'll do what we can. But I appreciate you guys, and go tune into the Aggressively Average Anglers show right now. It's live, 8:15. They just kicked off, and continue to ask us questions. Good to see Nick's coming, but continue to ask us questions on the website if you have any, and we'll definitely talk about this event again. Maybe we'll check back in with either one of you guys, if not both of you, that week before the event on our live again, just to see how the current conditions are. Maybe you guys can take some pictures of the water, some videos for us, and we'll share them. And that way people at least have a little bit of an insight to what they're about to step into as they start to travel that direction. So it's going to be fun. All right, guys.
All right.
Catch you later. It's going to be our new tag. Catch you. All right.